buying armor, must be in charge. So a bit of backstory. Back in 2018, when this occurred, I had saved up quite a bit of money from my job as a shift lead in the food service industry. So what did I, 17 male, do with that money? I bought a suit of steel plate armor, helmet and all, something I had always wanted to do since I knew what a knight was. I had bought it primarily to wear at the local Renaissance festival, but took every opportunity to put it on that I could. And this wasn't something ceremonial or LARP stuff. It was the real deal. 16-gauge steel, thick leather straps, over 100 pounds altogether. It could stop a sword. At the time, and currently, I stood at 6 feet 5 inches and weighed a grand total of 140 pounds soaking wet. Not the most intimidating on my own, but with the armor on, I was scary AF, or so people have told me. Anyways, on to the story. That October, my mom signed my entire family up to volunteer at a nearby hospital's trunk or treat the Saturday before Halloween, a night I had off from work. So I suited up. The rest of my family got into their Renfest costumes, and off we went. When we arrived, we reported to the event director, the real manager, and were assigned our duties. My parents were to hand out candy from the back of their car and keep an eye on the kids walking through, like most of the adults. The youngest of my siblings, 11 female, was sent to help oversee some of the games going on inside and around the hospital. And the oldest, 15 female, was sent with me. And what was my wondrous task? Glorified traffic cone. My job was to stand at one of the entrances to the portion of the parking lot the event was taking place in and keep cars from driving through. Here to join the trunk or treat. Go around the hospital to the exit side of the lot and someone else will direct you further. Just trying to leave the hospital. Sorry, bud, you're going to have to turn around. No exit here. There was another entrance, but other volunteers took care of it, and mine was where the line of trunk or treaters would wait while another group went through. It didn't make sense to put me there, though. If you didn't notice the glow stick lanyard all volunteers were wearing, you definitely noticed the hulking 6'5" guy encased in reflective steel standing in your headlights. And if you somehow didn't, had a much better chance of surviving getting hit. So there I stand for 2.5 hours directing traffic and taking pictures with a fair few of the kids waiting in line. Most were a bit scared of me, but with some encouragement from their parents, and a lift of my helmet's visor to show that I was indeed a person under all the metal, they became very excited to meet a real knight. Sometime between 2.5 and 3 hours on duty, I hear a bit of yelling coming from the other parking lot entrance. I didn't think much of it because there are a lot of people around being loud, especially kids. So I keep on keeping on. Then a moment later, just as I finish another photo op, there's a tap on my pauldron, shoulder armor. I turn, and there stands one of the volunteers from the other entrance, looking a bit exasperated. Hey man, sorry to bother you, but can you come with me for a moment? We could use you over here. A little bit confused, wondering if maybe someone needed a bathroom break and needed me to take over or something. I said sure and followed him back. As we got closer, the shouting got louder, and I started to make some of it out. I don't care what the freak is going on tonight. I want to leave through here. The other exit goes to such and such road. In the construction there is a pain in the butt. Where is your freaking manager? I'll make him make you let me through. This is ridiculous. Do you have any? And blah blah blah. And blah blah and blah. Now I see a car stopped at the second entrance, and a red-faced man in the driver's seat with the window down tearing into the second volunteer traffic cone. As we approached, the guy who grabbed me ran ahead, blocking the man's view of me as I got closer. All right, man, he said, here's the manager like you wanted. About freaking time. What? Is he a dummy like you too? I swear to God. At this point, the volunteer who had me follow him stepped aside, and I came forward, right next to the car's window. The jerkwad's mouth dropped, and his face went a few shades lighter as I lumbered to a stop. What's the problem here? I asked, finally figuring out what was going on. I also might have made my voice a little deeper than it actually was. The man just stared at me for a couple of seconds, mouth agape. Still not sure which was worse for him, the beast in medieval armor or the fact he saw his own stupid face reflected in my visor. When he finally found his voice again, he sort of pointed ahead of him and mumbled, I want to leave through here because the traffic is really bad the other way because of the construction. I didn't let him finish and folded my arms, which wasn't exactly easy. Seriously, you do see all the kids running around, right? The big line, the cars, the games. And you still want to drive through here, especially with that mouth of yours. If anyone is a dummy here, it's definitely not me or these guys. But... Nope, don't want to hear it. Stop shouting at my buddies. Turn around. And leave the way that isn't full of kids, or I'll have the hospital security come deal with you. I was loving this. I never got to talk to people like this at my actual job. Without a word, he rolled up his window, the car in reverse, and drove away. Once he was gone, the volunteer who grabbed me high-fived his buddy, then me. Sorry for dragging you into this, man, but I couldn't find the actual manager. And this guy was pissed. And then I saw you, and I knew you would be perfect. I just laughed and told him it was no trouble, that it was actually very enjoyable. Then I took a picture with the volunteers, chatted a bit about my costume, then headed back to my post and finished out the night, content with my little revenge against all the Richard Craniums in the world. Edit. Here's a link to a picture of me the day of the encounter. I would have posted it in the first place, but the phone I had with the picture on it died, so I had to search for a backup. And I did have gauntlets, just wasn't wearing them at the time of the pic. I do still have the armor, adding bits and pieces to the total costume, including sabatons. Yes, like the band. Functional but unsharpened sword and a shield, but I haven't had many chances to wear it over the last year. Hopefully this year will be better. Also, I've seen some comments have seemed a bit incredulous about my weight and height. I'm 100% serious about that. When I have my shirt off, you can count my ribs and see my chest move when my heart beats. Just won the genetic lottery for skinny jeans. I guess, pity I need a tightly cinched belt to wear them.
Karen demands I work shift for store I don't work for. A few weeks ago, was woken by a phone call at about 5:13 a.m. by some snotty woman, demanding I work a weekend when I don't even work for them or retail for that matter. This is how it all went down. 5:13 a.m. phone wakes me up. Hello, this is Terry from Bimart. Lucy, you have to work this weekend. Be trying to grasp reality as my brain is still sleeping and I don't know any Lucy or this caller Terry. Hey Terry, you dialed wrong number. Lose it, please. I hang up the phone and almost drift back to sleep when it rings again and I stupidly answer it. Terry, you hang up on me again, I will fire you, but you are to work the weekend or find another job. No, she didn't say, but she said much worse, and now I decided to have some fun with this. The result was very lifting, I might add. Caller had a southern accent, so no clue how they could be even calling me to begin with. Me, Terry, if you want me, and it's overtime Saturdays, double time Sundays. I want this in writing, or I will not come in. Figured this would end the call, and I could get back to sleep. And the only disturbance would be my daughter's cat, who decided to pay me a visit and dig her claws into my covers. Ignoring the fact she's sharpening them on me, I was dead wrong. I had to listen to Terry give me some spiel on company policy for full-timers and openability. I cut her off in mid-sentence. Terry, I could care less about company policy. You want me to work this weekend. You are paying me what I require, and you're putting this in writing. Also, because you annoyed me by waking me twice, I now will only work double-time Saturday and triple-time Sundays. Take it or leave it. Oh, don't forget, that's $15 an hour. That means $30 an hour Saturdays, $45 an hour Sun. I never got to finish saying Sunday, because this is what happened next. Terry, holy shoot, I don't even make $15 an hour. Why the hell do you? Next thing I know, her yelling attracted other staff, and I can hear yelling in the background of why the hell does she make $15 and I only get $9, with others in background yelling why is Lucy getting $15, and I could no longer make out who was saying what, other than Terry telling someone I refuse to come in unless I get OT, which is when some guy takes over the call. This is Bill, the general manager. Lucy, what is this about not coming in unless you get OT? And where the hell are you getting $15 an hour from? You want me, and those are my terms. Stop calling and waking me. I can hear Bill in the background with all the commotion saying that doesn't sound like Lucy, it sounds like a guy. For that insult, it's now triple time the entire weekend. We have a deal. Click. It was then my wife wakes up and asks me what was all that about. Told her it was work, calling me to let me know I had the weekend off. I go back to bed, Kitty's sleeping on top purring.
Richard had thought my buddy was a valet. A friend of mine is a driver for delivery service FX. He has a delivery to a hotel in a northeast U.S. city. He parks his truck around the corner, grabs the package and hoofs it off to the hotel, has front desk person sign for it and leaves the building. Just as he goes outside, a guy pulls up in a brand new Porsche, jumps out, tosses the keys to him and says, "Park it close, I'll only be a few minutes." So my buddy hops in, drives the car down the street, parks it, leaves it running, doors open in traffic. He goes back to his truck and continues his deliveries. Legend.
Do you recognize all of the voices? Leave your guesses in the comments.